Have you ever asked yourself, do I need life insurance for me or my spouse? This is a question that most of us don't even consider asking, but it is something everyone should really think about, especially if you have small children, are supporting a spouse, or a disabled child or adult. Last year, there was a sister in our ward whose husband died very unexpectedly. They had 5 children, no life insurance to help pay for the funeral. The ward did what we could to help pay for the funeral, and of course the church did what they do and help pay for her bills. But she had no income and no money. Finally, she moved her and her children to Utah to live with family. Of course, not everyone needs life insurance. There are questions that you need to ask yourself to evaluate your need, such as how many people depend on my earning capacity? How much money will my family need for living expenses? How long will it take my family to become self-sufficient again? These are just some of the long-term needs that you need to think about. You should look at the income that you make now and what you earn to support your family on a regular basis. You have some short-term questions you should ask, such as what assets are available to take care of my family's immediate financial needs? Will I owe substantial debt or taxes when I die? How long is it going to take for the property to be turned over to my family? But to me, the most important question you need to ask yourself is, will my family suffer financially if and when I die? I know that with my family depending upon 2 incomes, if something were to happen to either one of us or both of us, and we had no life insurance, it would be devastating. Luckily, we do have life insurance, and I have the peace of mind that my son will be taken care of because he is disabled and he does not have the earning capacity. But 4 out of 10 people do not have life insurance. If you're a single parent, you really need to make sure you have this to help protect your children in case something happens. If you're a stay-at-home mom or dad, you need to look at the financial contribution that you are making to your family because it is a big one. Your childcare, transportation, cooking, cleaning, laundry. How much is it going to cost to replace you? Now I have a question that nobody likes to be asked. Does my child need life insurance? The answer to this is yes. The responsible thing to do is to have adequate insurance to help pay for your child's funeral costs. We don't expect anything to happen to our children, but it can and it does. And unfortunately, a funeral can cost as easily $10,000 with the casket, the gravesite, funeral expenses, and there's other expenses. You're going to be missing time off of work. You're going to need counseling for you and your family because let's face it, you just lost a child. I learned this the hard way. I had an 8-year-old stepdaughter who died very suddenly from a brain aneurysm. There was no life insurance on her, and it was very difficult trying to come up with the money to pay for her funeral expenses. If you think about it, we work hard in life to make sure that, the people that we love, our spouse, our partner, our children, our extended family, that they are always taken care of. It's just as important to consider providing financial support for their future living expenses. After all, they have to go on without you. Make sure that you protect them. Life insurance will help your family cover any financial responsibilities that are left after you die. Debt can and is a tremendous burden to everybody. But put that on top of the emotional toll that your death is taking upon your family. Life insurance is not as expensive as most people think either. 3 years ago, a brother in our ward, who is actually my neighbor, had a massive heart attack. He was only 25 years old. He had a 2-month-old son and a 2-year-old son and a wife. He survived, thankfully, but he missed months of work. He had no life insurance at the time, but he did get life insurance later. But as you can imagine, it cost him quite a bit more because he had just had a heart attack. We have been taught in our church by Elder J. Ashton in One for the Money. He tells us that we should appropriately involve yourself in an insurance program. It is most important to have sufficient medical, automobile, and homeowners insurance, and an adequate life insurance program. Costs associated with illness, accident, and death may be so large that uninsured families can be financially burdened for many years. Ask yourself, why do I insure my car and my house, but I don't insure myself or my family? I've always thought that my life and the life of my family is a lot more important than a car or a house. Life insurance is also considered a financial asset, which can help build your credit. It can help you get a loan, help you get health insurance. Some policies have cash value, and it cannot be touched by creditors, even in the case of bankruptcy. The time to think about ensuring your family's peace of mind is now, not later when it's too late or too expensive. In light of all the mass shootings that have happened here in California, Colorado, Sandy Hook, and all the other places, it is imperative that you think about this. Do you think any of them thought that they would be part of a shooting, that they would have to set up GoFundMe accounts to help pay for funeral expenses? I don't want this for my family. Now is the time to protect your family's future for the just in cases in life that can and do happen. We don't want to think about it, but you need to. To know how much insurance you need, you can go to lifehappens.org and use the life insurance calculator they provide there with all the other important information that they provide. Get life insurance.